The immune cells are starving. They need fuel in order to fight. They need a little bit of zinc. They need mullein. They need thyme, right? They need the propolis, the incredible propolis that I talk about and show you guys. They need the licorice. They need the golden seal. They need things. They're hungry. Okay, so let's go into this now. All right? Immune cells have to be fed. They can't exist on their own. Cells need to be fed. Every single cell in your body needs fuel. It needs the right trace minerals. It needs phytochemical compounds. It needs all these different things that are in our food, which is critical. I wish we only needed food. I wish we only needed food and food only in this world. That would be incredible. And we do need food. And listen, a lot of people get better just on celery juice, just on one thing, just on some tools, just on the healing broth, just on the spinach soup. I know people that say, look, I'm going to do spinach soup for like 2 weeks, AW. I'm like, that's incredible. They do spinach soup for 2 weeks. They don't do anything else. And they just start healing and they just start recovering, right? The medical meme spinach soup. The point is that we can do a lot with food, and we need to keep that food going, and we got to keep the bad stuff out when we can. We got to keep the bad stuff out, right? We got to keep the gluten out and all the vinegars out and everything else. We got to keep the bad stuff out because it boggles down our immune cells. But we need things that feed the immune system. A friend of mine ate something similar to this right now, what you're seeing. See, I don't shun my friends just because they do things. I don't shun. You know what? I hear this all the time out there. I hear like there's all kinds of spiritual gurus. There's all kinds of like health gurus out there I hear about. And they get rid of their friends that don't do what they preach. They get rid of them. They like shame them and shun them. I got friends going back decades. And and they don't do they might do something like vape. They might do something like eat a big old hoagie with all kinds of vinegar and cheese on it. But I don't shun them. I don't punish them, and I don't judge them. It's a hard world out there. Hard world. But what I do is when I run across a friend who's eating something like this, I'll be like, well, that's feeding the immune system right there. They're like, what is that? I'm like, that's lettuce. That's lettuce. That's feeding the immune cells right there. And they're like, okay, what else is feeding the immune cells in here, AW? I'll be like, oh, there's a tomato. You see that tomato right there? That tomato in your sandwich is feeding the immune cells. You see that right there? And they're like all excited. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. AW, this is amazing. I got some stuff that's feeding the immune cells. And then I go, see that pastrami right there? That's not helping the immune cells. It's just not helping. You see that cheese? That provolone cheese on your hoagie right there? That's feeding the bad guys. They're like, what do you mean it's feeding the bad guys? That's feeding the bad guys. You see that bread right here? Like, bread's good for you, right? Bread, whole grain bread. That is the gluten. It's feeding the bad guys. It's not feeding your cells. And they'll be like, see this right here? Like, yeah, onions. I love onions. That's an onion. That's feeding your immune cells. That's feeding them and strengthening them. So what you have right here is good and evil, darkness and light. You can just all box it up and package it up into like darkness and light, a spiritual war right here in a sandwich. You got some foods in here that are trying to save you and feed your immune cells. You got some foods in here that are trying to take down your immune cells by feeding all the pathogens. It's dark and light. It's good and evil. All packed up right here in a sandwich. Okay? When you do stuff that's critical for your immune system, when you get the junk out like in the medical meme information, you're doing your HMDS, you're doing the things you need to do, right? Yep. Versus spiritual tasting, the healing, exactly. Kim says, what is the name of the Vimergy product? It's called Total Immune Blend, is what it is. Total Immune Blend. I'll put that right up to you. Okay. A new immune cell is born. Another immune cell is born. Another one is born. Name them what you will. They're all just names. Lymphocytes, neutrophils, basophils, killer cells, white blood cells. Name them what you want. They're all just names. But you got a host of immune cells inside your body. They're all just names that some guy came up with. Right? The medical industry is like, well, we think we found an immune cell. We might name it. Let's name it. Okay, we're going to name that one a lymphocyte. Oh, I think we found an immune cell again. We're going to name that one something else. They're just naming them, right? I tend to not try to use the names because is that the real name? Is that the real name of an immune cell? I think about that all the time because every time I talk to SOC is like, yeah, that's some guy in a lab that's like, we're going to name that a killer cell. Herbs, mullein, the total immune. Thyme, the total immune. They need zinc. They need to be fed. They need trace minerals, phytochemical compounds within the herbs. And as they get stronger and they win a battle, okay? And then they win a battle against an evil bug. And that immune cell radiates strength and vibrancy. And it weakens that pathogen. And then it wins the battle quickly. It ascends upon that pathogen and then eats it up and cancels it out. It now gains intelligence back. It strengthens and it gains the intelligence back. And then it's stronger, it's smarter, it goes for another one. Does the same thing. Weakens it, crushes it, and gains intelligence. And then that immune cell might lose a battle because it's eating so many bad boys up, so many of them up, that if someone has a little too many of the EBVs and they got 4 different varieties of Epstein-Barr, they got 2 varieties of shingles, and they got an HPV, they got a cytomegalovirus, they got a simplex 1, and that immune cell can't handle them all and eventually burns out like a star in the universe. And when it burns out, it dies. But in that process, it did something that you guys don't know. You know what it did? It passed down information to other immune cells. Look at that. And then those immune cells pass down information to other immune cells. And then the war goes on, and you're winning the war. Your fibro's getting better, your Lyme disease is getting better, your RA is getting better, your life is getting better. Whatever it is you have, your autoimmune's getting better, things are getting better. Your immune cells can strengthen when they're fed the right things. They can grow and strengthen, and they can beat out the bad guys. And that's what it's all about. Right there. Medical medium tools are about destroying the bad guys, cleaning out the junk that feeds the bad guys, getting rid of the foods that feed the bad guys, and supporting your immune system and your organs with the good stuff. That's what it's about. Because people walk around with broken, busted immune systems, and they're sick and they stay sick, and they're constantly flared up, and they get flared up again, and then somebody out there says, go try this, don't do that, and they go try it, and they're flared up more, and someone else is like, no, you should do this, and only do this, only do carnivore, nothing else. And they just be like, try that, and they get sicker in 6 months. And they're like, no, just eat what you want, just only eat what you want, that makes you happy, and then when you're happy, you heal. And they do that one, and they're just like, boom, then now they're sick all over again. Or they'll be like, do this one, and do that one, and do this one. It's never ending. And MM Info is about restoring those immune cells, recovering them, restoring them, making them stronger, getting the intelligence factor up on all those immune cells. So the intellect on each immune cell is strong, powerful, so it admits what this is going to happen here as I clean this board one more time. Then a cell is born, you guys. That's right. Envision that cell, because that cell's inside of you. Envision it and see it. A cell is born inside of you that has intelligence and strength, and it wields a sword, and that sword is going to go right through those pathogens and destroy them. The darkness and the evil. A cell is born. It's got a strength to it. It's got no indentations. It's not tattered. It's got no divots in it. It's got no pivots in it either. The membrane is juicy. The membrane is strong. And it emits that frequency. But it emits it everywhere. See this? Because you've been doing the work and you've been working on yourself and getting what you need, and that strength is emitting everywhere. And that's your immune cell right there. You have it in you. It's there. And many of you have ignited those already, and you have won battles after battles, and you've gotten rid of 50 symptoms. I see it on YouTube. I see it in your comment section. I see it in so many, like in the comment section. You guys are leaving. I read them all. And you guys are winning those battles, and your immune cell is crushing it and destroying those invaders and those pathogens, because you guys have been giving your immune cells what they need. And that's your immune cell right there that you guys are building. It is strong. It is powerful. It is nothing to be messed with. And when an invader comes around, it crushes it. When those invaders come around, the EBVs and the simplexes and the shingles and the strep, and maybe you don't know you have any of this. You're just sick. Then just do this then. You're sick. Something's in you because you don't know. Maybe you didn't learn yet. And you don't know the bugs that are in you. You have no idea. Fine. Then something is just keeping you sick. Whatever it is in your head. In the sense where you're really sick. But in your head you're thinking, I don't know why I'm sick. Something's doing it. Whatever it is that you believe. Your immune cell is strong and it's vital, and it starts to spin around and spin around and spin around. And what happens is that it's turning, and science doesn't have that pegged. They don't know about this. They don't study a cell through its fruition. They don't. They don't study it from its birth because they don't follow a cell. Science doesn't know how to follow a cell. They can't. They don't have the technology to follow a cell. They can't follow it in the body when it's coming out of a bone and then it's just growing through your body and it's moving through your body. They're not following it, being like, there's that cell. We got our eye on it. It's not like a bird that they're watching and they put a little tag. It's not like a penguin. They put a little tag in its ear because it's endangered. And they're trying to keep an eye on it, so they send some people up there to the Arctic, and they're looking for that penguin that actually has a little red tag in its ear. Its fin. Its fin. I don't know. Penguins have ears, but keep in mind that that cell starts to spin and it starts to rotate, and it has strength like no other. And when you feed these cells, they can turn into this, and in your body, you will have this strength, and it will do this. And then when it comes across these pathogens, what it does, and this is incredible, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what some of you are doing right now when you do medical medium. I can't speak for other modalities and other things out there and other whatever lifestyles or whatever they call it out there. I can't speak for all those, but I can speak for medical medium information. And when your cell gets strong and stronger and stronger and it starts to rotate, it runs across all the bad bugs right there, and what it does, it radiates this powerful, powerful light out of that cell, that blue light, and as it radiates out, it puts everything docile. Everything goes to sleep around it. All your streps, all your 5 different streps that are antibiotic resistant, all your different EBVs that you have, all your different shingles that you have, everything, it completely puts it into a trance like this. You see this? Into a spell. It spellbounds it, and then it goes and it gobbles every single one of them up. That's what it does, all like this. That's the cell we have. It goes like this, and it gobbles every last one of them up, and it wipes it clean, and then it heads down into your liver, and it does it all over again. And then you start healing on medical medium, and you start recovering, and that's what happens right there. We're up against the strongest pathogens we've ever faced in history. They're out there now, and they continue to strengthen, but we don't have to live by that madness. We can take care of ourselves, do what we need for ourselves. Anyway, check out Total Immune Blend. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's information from Spirit of Compassion. I've been teaching on and off for years. That I've been messaging all these years. Messaging to others, they could become their own experts, and